Good morning. I'm hitting all the places to be live. And as you get here, make sure that you say hello so that I know you're here. Will I pull this up? Where is it? There we go. All right. Oh, I'm about to forget to do something here. Hold on. All right. One more thing, and then I'll be ready to start. All right. All right. It's a beautiful day. It is Thursday. Man, the week has flown by. I don't know if it's flown by for you guys, but it definitely has for me. And next week I've got my trip to San Diego, so I'm super excited. And remember, as you get here, make sure that you say hello so that I can see you and we can have a conversation. I appreciate it so much when you pop in and say hello. I'm just looking to make sure that I've got everything working the way it's supposed to be working, all the little housekeeping things. All right. So this morning I go out, I'm walking the dog, and he's a little guy. Um, he only weighs just a little over 6 pounds, so he's a small dog. But man, oh man, does he have this what do they call it, Napoleon syndrome, right? He's a little bitty thing, but man, he just goes bonkers when a big dog goes past. And I don't know if he's wanting to go play or he's just trying to alert me that there's this big dog here or whatever. But I mean, he goes spastic. And you can see some of those dogs, the hair on the back of their neck will bristle up and everything. And I'm thinking, holy moly, that dog would eat them for lunch. And so it's really been amazing to see how he has no fear, right? And I think sometimes we as humans, we have fear about so many different things. So I don't know why that's coming to me this morning about us having fear of so many things that aren't real. Like one of the things, I was listening to something yesterday, and one of the things that they were talking about was how I wish I could remember who the quote was from, but it was basically the quote was, I have experienced so many fear of so many things in my life, most of them never happened. And so that's kind of what we do, right? We end up being fearful of things that don't necessarily ever happen. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know why. That has nothing to do with the affirmation or the journal prompt, but it just felt like something to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the affirmation this morning. All right. So, this morning's affirmation is, my mind is an abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation. Doesn't that feel good? Because when I was first thinking about it, it was that I can just flow in creativity. And there are so many times that we're just not, right? We worry, we stress, we do different things that we feel like we're supposed to do to get to a certain result. And so we're working under stress and anxiety. But when we can get into creativity, so sometimes that means going for a walk, doing a meditation, sitting in silence, going and taking a bubble bath. There's all kinds of things that we can do to just kind of relax and get out of the moment. Because one of the things that is important is to remember that we can never come up with a solution when we're engrossed in the problem, right? So we can create all kinds of things. We can be creative. We can be innovative. We can come up with all these amazing ideas if we allow ourselves to. And most of the times, we're too busy. We're rushing from one task to the next, and I'm just as guilty of that as anybody. And then we wonder why we're kind of at a standstill almost, even though, like I say, the only constant in life is change. So we're never standing still, we're always moving. It's just we get to choose which direction that we're moving in, right? And so when we can get into this place where we'll relax into our space and we allow the ideas and everything to flow to us. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. When we allow that flow to come, then that's where this creativity and the innovation, the ideas, the inspiration, um, the thoughts of I need to call this person or I need to go to this store. All these different things will come to us that sometimes do not even seem like they matter in the moment, but they all matter, right? So the affirmation is my mind is an abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation. So then the task is how do we get our mind to do that? Right? Because it's well to say that, but how are we creating that in our lives? So, Lynn, do you have any input on that? How do you feel like you would get more creativity and innovation? I just said that going outside for a walk, taking a bubble bath, sitting in silence, maybe reading a book. So, do you have any other ideas of what you could do to drop into this abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation? And you're probably at work, so you might not be able to answer. But if you can, I would love to know. Let me check and see what's over here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I don't know. Do I want to share the journal prompt already? My goodness. Good morning, Janet. Good morning. Good to have you here. My mind is an abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation. Good morning, Wendy. How is it on the high seas? Thank you for being here, Janet. I appreciate it. So, do you have any thoughts on the affirmation? My mind is an abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation. So, I was just sharing that, we have to get our thoughts in, perhaps doing some research on what it is I want to tap into. Yes, that would be beautiful. Yes, Lynn, that's perfect. Because we want to be bringing all this to us. Good morning. I am halfway here. The thing is that sometimes like I was saying earlier, we get so busy in life and what we're wanting to do, and we just are kind of almost on autopilot, right? Like we've talked about that a lot. We go through our day, and especially if you've got a good morning, Wendy. You've got a day job, and maybe you have a side hustle, and you've got all these things, and so you're like tunnel vision, I got to get this and this, and you got these lists. Like I have lists, right? So when do you take that moment to just let the innovation and the creativity flow? Because it's not going to happen as you're so busy, right? Wendy says the seas are beautiful. We are in Cozumel. Ooh, nice. You need to share a picture in the group of you at the ocean. Of course, you can do that from home, but this is different, right? So for me, going for a walk, I'm distracted downstairs in trivia game. Okay, all right, I get it. Well, maybe we'll say something that helps you in the trivia game. Who knows? Um, Janet, so when I walk in the morning or when the hot water hits my head in the morning. Yes. One of the visualizations I do for myself sometimes, and I've shared this with other people, and it's just a short synopsis of it. It's like I visualize when I get in the shower that the water as it hits me, that it's like honey and it's thick. And so it starts flowing down my body, and that just relaxes me as it's flowing. But all of that flowing stuff is creating some inspiration in me. So it helps to bring out the thoughts and the feelings and the ideas and everything. So I'll do visualizations sometimes like that when I'm in the shower, or I do them all kinds of times, right? But if anybody's interested in that, I can share it with you. But when we can take the time and we see that there's something that we do all the time, and we can connect something to it that helps us to get outside of ourselves so that the creativity and the innovation can flow. Beautiful, right? And when I go walking, that's definitely a time that the ideas come, and that's why I use my voice notes all the time to be able to note them. And I will say I didn't do that this morning because I needed to call someone, and I ended up doing the call while I was out walking. And typically I don't do that anymore because I use that time for my innovation, my creativity, and just getting things to flow. But this morning it just kind of felt like the thing to do. So has anybody else got any other ideas of ways to just kind of bring that your mind to that place? And I'll go ahead and get to this journal prompt. All right. So close your eyes and envision your mind as a vast, colorful landscape of ideas. It was brisk here this morning, so that nice chill helped. Oh, brisk? Well, it ain't brisk here yet. It was 68 when I went walking this morning. Yesterday it was 63, and it felt really cool, but it's going to be back up in the 90s starting on Saturday. So we're getting a little reprieve. I would like to have that little nice chill, but I'm glad I got what I got, right? So your journal prompt is close your eyes and envision your mind as a vast, colorful landscape of ideas. Now, just as you close your eyes and you think of that there's this landscape out there, just do it with me right now if you want to. Just look at the landscape in your mind all around. And it's like there, instead of being flowers, are being trees, they're ideas that are growing. So you can say, what does that landscape look like? For me, I look at it as flowers and trees growing, their ideas and everything that are just everywhere. And I just have to walk around and pick them up. Oh, it was 50. Oof. It'll be a while before it gets down to 50 here. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm not ready for winter by any means, but I could use a few fall days. And we're just having a little teaser now. It's going to be summer for a while. Um, so when you look at what does that landscape look like, so you're going to take some time to really dive into your mind with this one. And then when you do all of that, I want you to make a list of ideas that flow within you. So as you're taking some time to just get into silence, you take some breaths, then you close your eyes, and then you see this colorful landscape all around you in your mind, whatever it looks like for you. And like for somebody like, I don't know, um, Wendy lives in Miami, and she's right there at the beach. So maybe she sees the landscape as grains of sand, or maybe it is seashells on the shore, and each one of those seashells is an idea. I don't know what it looks like for you. So if anybody wants to share what that landscape would look like for you, then definitely do that. It would be great to know. But it's different for everybody when you, and it's kind of like, I don't know if you're this way, but I am. Like if I read a fictional novel and then they make a movie of it, I have a hard time sometimes because what I envisioned in my mind when they described scenes or they described people, especially the people that are in the movie, never match up to what my vision was. And then I have a hard time if I watch the movie first and then read the book because it takes my imagination away and it puts their vision of what those things place. It's weird, right? But that's what happens to me. Trees and streams, yes. And mountains, beautiful. Mountains and trees and streams. Yes, I love it. I love it. So you can almost see, like one of the things I did with someone one time with hypnosis is she was having a lot of stress and anxiety about things that were going on in her life. So what I had her do in this visual that we did was she took each one of those issues, those challenges, those problems that she perceived, she took each one of them and put them in like a basket and put the basket in the water. And then we watched them float away and they ended up going under the water and they disappeared. And so that was a really good visual for her to kind of let that stuff go, right? But you could do it the other way too, where if you're standing near the water and there are things that are coming in the water for you, towards you, and it's all these inspiration and ideas, and have them in a boat or have them in a basket or have them somewhere. So it's a visual that you can physically you can mentally see in your imagination, so then you can imagine going and scooping them up, right? Maybe you've created a dam to where all these ideas come to this place right here, so it's really easy for you to retrieve them because it's your imagination. You can create whatever the hell you want, right? So create something that makes your life easier. So if you're wanting to be able to harness these ideas that are all around you, these inspirations, these ideas that flow in you, and your vision is the water, make it easy to retrieve them. Does that make sense? So let's see. If it's mountains, maybe there's stuff going all the way up the mountain, but it's really easy to retrieve them. Because sometimes in our mind, we can make things even harder if we're not careful. So let's say, for instance, you're thinking it's the mountains, and for whatever reason, you visually put everything at the top of the mountain where it's really hard to get to. And So then in your mind is picking up on, well, being creative and everything, that's hard. It's hard to get to, it's hard to retrieve, it's hard to figure it out. And so maybe there's an escalator on the side of the mountain that takes you to each one of the ideas. You just figure it out, or maybe it's all around the base of the mountain and you can easily retrieve them. Maybe there's a cave that you go into in the mountain and everything's there, but it's really easy to get to that cave. That's what I'm saying, is you want to be using a visualization that is easy and accessible, because we want our body and our mind to interpret it that stream could be ideas flowing freely. Yes, yes. And you want to make sure that they're easy to grab, easy to get hold of. So create the visual that works for you so that it is a no-brainer. It is so easy. Maybe you're sitting on the shore, on the side of the water, on the banks, and everything just starts coming around your feet. I don't know. Maybe you're in a boat and everything just comes, and it's like some of those fish and it just pops out of the water and gets into your boat. So remember, it's your visual. You can create whatever the heck you want. Streams are calming, water running over the rocks. Yes, I agree. I love being by water. I don't care about being in the water, but I love being by water. And so when I don't have it now, but in the past, I've had even a fountain that I had at my house sitting outside on my patio so that I could hear water even when I was not near a body of water. But the interesting thing is, I haven't had a home in the last 25 years that wasn't near a body of water of some kind. I lived in an apartment that had this big, it wasn't really a lake, but it was a big body of water, and they had this fountain that came out of it, and it was right beside the pool, and that was great, right? And then I bought a house, and in at that house there was a body of like a lake in the back of the neighborhood, and some of the houses were up against the lake, but I was not, but I could walk over there anytime. And then when I sold that house and I moved to a place where it was actually the house I could walk right over and walk beside the river. And then the house that I'm in now, there's like it's like a big pond and the like kind of just a little bit behind me so that I can walk around to where that pond is and I can hear that water flowing. And there's ducks, there's geese, there's all of that stuff, right? And it is funny, I haven't even really thought about it that much till just now, but it's like it draws me in, right? And I'm an earth sign. I'm not a water sign, so I don't know what that if that has anything to do with anything, because I'm not really that versed on astrology, right? But I'm a Virgo, so I'm an earth sign. But something about hearing the flow of the water, it's like I can just like, just relaxes, right? It is, like you said, Janet, it is so calming. And so my visuals a lot of times have something to do with water, whether it's in the shower, whether it's by the water, the ocean. A lot of my visuals for myself have to do with water. And like I said, I didn't even realize that for the last 25 years, I have lived in a home that was right at a body of water, maybe not in my backyard. And I've talked about it before. When I was a teenager, we lived in a house that had this creek that ran through it. And I spent so much time by this creek because there was a tree that had fallen across it. And instead of taking it away, we used it as a way to cross the creek. And then a lot of times I sat on this tree and I would dangle my feet in the water and I would write poetry. And that was my happy place. And so maybe that was part of why I feel that way now, with when it comes to water. So I would love to hear how you do with this when you actually take this visual. So you're going to make sure that you quiet your mind, you get still, you get relaxed, and then you do this vision of what your colorful landscape is. What does it look like? Ah, yes, your escape from technology and life. Yeah, yeah. Maybe it is your escape from technology and bringing you to life. Ah, that's how I interpret that. But just think about it. What does this landscape look like? And like I said, this is your imagination, so you can create whatever you want. Whether if it's a mountain and you're in a helicopter and you go to the top of the mountain and everything's there, you put it in the helicopter and you take it with you. I mean, you can create anything, right? So you could be on a yacht in the ocean, and you've got a net out there, and everything's just coming. All these ideas are coming into your net, and all you got to do is just easily pull it. Maybe you've got a crew of people that are there just pulling all these ideas in for you. I don't know. Just dream, envision, imagine, whatever makes it so that it is so easy for you to get these ideas that flow to you and make them yours. Because ideas flowing is one thing, but actually making them easily to grab and implement, that's another. And we want to make sure we're doing both. All right, so we're going to go back to our affirmation. My mind is an abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation. Remember, put that on your sticky note, your index card, the screensaver on your phone. Put it on the mirror with a chalk marker. Write it on a piece of paper and stick it on your fridge, wherever it is. And if you're in front of the computer all day, put it on a little sticky note. I have sticky notes on my computer, on my desktop right now that you can't see, but they're there. And some of them are reminders about things, but I'll be honest. But others are like, one of them says, I am grateful for every opportunity to serve my clients. And so there are things you can put there. So today I'm going to create one that is this affirmation right here, so that when I get in front of the computer because I'll be busy this morning, but when I get in front of the computer a little bit later today, that'll be my thought, right? I have in the salon, I have a chalkboard. It's like a framed chalkboard. And so I'm thinking I'm going to put that on my chalkboard today so that it's good for me. It's good for my clients when they come in. So put it somewhere that you're going to see it today and think about it. And then get out your journal, get out your notebook, put the date on there, the affirmation, and the journal prompt. And I love, love, love when you can go back and you can look and see what were the ideas that were flowing to you today. And then when you come back in 30 days, 60 days, 6 months, whatever it is, and you look at that, you're going to be surprised that a lot of those ideas that were flowing to you are now true. They are part of your life. They are part of your new normal. But you wouldn't have remembered that if you didn't have this written down that you could see, right? Because this visual of having this landscape full of ideas, like for me, I said, it's like this valley that has, if you see wildflowers all in a place like in the woods, right? Instead of wildflowers, each one of those is an idea that I can just go and pick and say, oh, that one feels delicious today. And then I can go and pick another one. That one feels really, really delicious today. And I can just pick all the time, right? I don't have to pick them all today. because the way I've got my landscape set out, they're always there. And so I can just grab the ones that feel like they're really, really what I want to do. And then I know that I can come back tomorrow and there'll be more. And you can do that in whatever landscape that you've created too. Just create it in your mind where it's always abundantly flowing. Whether that is the river, whether that is a lake, whether that is a vast valley, whether that's a mountain, whatever it is, a way that it is always replenishing itself. With wildflowers, you pick one, there's going to be several that come up in their space, right? So whatever you pick, just make it that is one of the parameters of it. That every time you pick one of those ideas, oof, I love it. I love it. This is the one I'm going to do right now. 3 more come in its place, right? It is the weed analogy, because you know how it is. If you pick, wildflowers are really considered weeds by a lot of people, right? But you pick a weed and it's going to be flowing. And the thing that's really cool about a lot of things when we're visioning, it can be something that it never goes away. It can be something that keeps replenishing itself all of the time, right? So maybe your mountain has snow and it's the snowflakes that are your thing. And certain places, some mountains have snow on them all the time. So maybe your mountain is one of those. And when you get on that mountain, and maybe it's a helicopter and you're immune to the cold, you love it. You get off the helicopter, you pick you a few snowflakes, you stick them in your bag and you go, and then you can come back and get some more. Just create a vision of what's good for you. So are you guys ready to envision this landscape and see how the ideas and inspirations can be there all the time? Because they can. And when you get in a place like in this group where everybody is really open to all of this, right? Then everybody's going to be encouraging. So you can go into the group and you can say, hey, I envision today that I am walking in this valley of wildflowers and I pick ideas constantly, and the inspirations that just flow. Sometimes I lay down in this vast valley of flowers and I just want to feel how all those ideas feel, and then I pick a few. Use your imagination, your game. Yes, Wendy, yes. So I would love it if you would share it in the group. And then that way we can all grab your vision too, and we can encourage your vision of what you see. Because that's what these groups are for, is to give you more inspiration, encourage you when you need encouragement, and be there when you're feeling a little bit down. Because when you're in the room full of people that are like-minded and have the same types of goals as you, such an amazing opportunity to increase your reach, to increase your companionship, your confidence, all of the things. So utilize the group for what it's meant to do, right? And I'm still working on creating 2 new events for next month. And I'm not sure what they are yet. I've got a couple of people that I'm talking to, but I'm going to be putting a poll in the group later today to ask some questions about what kind of things you guys are wanting to work on. And I love doing the hypnosis and the visualizations and those kinds of things. And I don't know, is that something that you would really, really want to have more work on? I don't know. So I'm going to put a poll up. And if you guys would um, look for it and participate in voting on what kind of things that you want. And then that way I know the experts that I want to bring in and the things that I want to talk about because I'm here for you. And so, like I said, I create these affirmations and journal prompts for something that I need. And most of the time that resonates with you. But I want to make sure that I'm really, really connecting with what you want, right? Yes, love hypnosis. I do it every night. Yes, I'm so glad you still do that, Janet. And if you need another one, if that one's getting to where it's old hat or whatever, just let me know because Janet has been a client of mine and she started as a stop smoking client and she's been amazing. She's gotten several audios from me and she's just saying that she still uses the every night. And I've got a few people that have bought some of the or purchased the different audios and because I create them especially for you and it's not like I have some that you can just are just general, right? But when I can create something specially for you and what you're dealing with, it works really well, doesn't it, Janet? I listen to them every night to go to sleep. Yes, yes. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Janet. All right, so it is getting close to time for me to go ahead and get off here so that I can get my day started with my clients. But I want to go back to the affirmation. My mind, beautiful, Janet. My mind is an abundant wellspring of creativity and innovation. And then our affirmation, which just feels like, one of the things I was just thinking all of a sudden is, one of the things that I talk about is the musical notes that when we're the other life is like musical notes. So you could even, it just came to me, you could even imagine that you're out somewhere and there's a symphony of notes that are just floating around and you can just reach out and you can grab them. So maybe your landscape is just music and notes and you're just creating and flowing, right? So remember to use this one, you're going to close your eyes and envision that vast, colorful landscape of ideas, whatever that looks like for you. And what does it look like? Make sure that when you're doing this, that you write all that out. You write out what that landscape looks like. And then it would be really cool if you came and visited again, in a few weeks and see, does the landscape change? What's showing up for you that helps you to have more ideas and inspiration, right? Because then you're going to make that list of all the ideas that flow within you. And where are they? How do you access them? I can't wait to hear. Yes, yes. Thank you, Janet. All right. So you have, let's see, what is it? You have a colorful day, letting all of these ideas flow through you and to you. And I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah.